energetic shifts are taking their toll on me, let me tell you. I started this at 7 this morning. And to be honest with you, I'm working on a couple of different projects, and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to share with you, so I sat at the computer and I started typing. And I'd like to share some thoughts with you, because our earth is changing so rapidly, and we need to be totally together spiritually in order to recognize that as these changes happen, we are the ones that are going to make the world a better place. All over the world, people are saying that nothing in the world is right, but no one offers a solution. There are too many words spoken and written. What is lacking is the cement that binds people together, the cement of love. Human nature is something that must be examined in all of its manifestations, the lower level as well as the higher levels. It is essential to see the divine within. Yes, nobody's perfect. We all have our idiosyncrasies, our good and our bad points. But when you get past that and you look at the light within that person, you recognize that everyone is a special human being, and as we recognize that, we help them to move forward in a very positive way. We have to stop being judgmental. We have to allow people to be where they're at. In the Bible it states a new heaven and earth. The heaven is within each one of us. A new heaven means a new perception, new ideas, new philosophy, and a new earth. A new earth means new attitude, new behavior, and a new way of being that are the result and bring about our new heaven here on the earth plane. The new way of thinking brings a different way of life. Heaven is represented by your head, and earth is represented by your feet. Wherever your head wants to go, your feet have to follow. Our actions will change when we change our thinking and believe in new ideas, a new philosophy, a connection to source, in whatever way you find is in your best interest or the easiest way for you to connect. It is being a human being and understanding that each of these modalities, or whatever it is you're doing, Reiki, hands-on healing, meditating, listening to music, all of those ways connect you to a higher source. And when you discover this, you then act differently, because we are all a piece of God. The sun gives life and nourishes all. It brings us warmth and light. All of this is a larger part of the new heaven. The angels, the archangels, and the divinities that Jesus called my Father's house, in which there are many mansions, we're all a part of this. The angels, the archangels, the higher realms are all a party to that. And you are a part of this. You are the microcosm of the macrocosm, the smaller of the larger. As you begin to understand and accept awareness, your behavior changes and your light within shines even brighter. Those that can see the auras or the energy around others see that people are changing dramatically at this time as the earth is shifting on its axis. This is the new light that is coming to the world at this time. With that light comes so much more harmony. Well, you have to have the disharmony before you get to the harmony. We're kind of in the middle of that too. As the harmony spreads, the whole earth will have harmony and become one family living in peace and brotherhood. We're all a part of this. All religions have a tendency to emphasize the truths that may be particularly essential to them. Just as, and I say this tongue-in-cheek, as a medicine is good for a particular illness, well, we know that there's 70 side effects. So it's helping you mask whatever it is, but same idea. We must present all the truth of religions and doctrines in the world and leave it to the individual to choose whatever spiritual work he chooses. This is what our teaching does. It includes everything that can help man draw closer to God and the mysteries of the universe, along with the scientific proof that is becoming more and more available of where we are and how we're getting there. We acknowledge reincarnation as with it, everything becomes clear. The law of cause and effect carries over from one existence to the next, and then it is no longer God who is blamed but ourselves. We choose our own paths. We manifest ourselves in one way or another, and we create our own destiny, not God. God is grandeur, He is splendor, His perfection and His justice. And when we develop and we understand that reincarnation is a great part of what makes us the human beings we are, because it is through the karma that we learn to progress and develop into higher sources of energy, higher light beings, higher understandings. It is all part and parcel of what we do at this time. Moses says in Genesis, when he's describing the creation, and God said, "Let us make man in his image after our likeness, and let him have dominion over the fishes of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over the cattle." God created man in his image. In the image of God, he created him. He created him in his image only. This is food for thought, because we all have the Christ energy within. We're all a part of God, but he created us in his image. He gave us faculties, but not full use of them the way he has. This is what we develop as we live here on the earth plane. We have to acknowledge the God source within, but we have to learn and grow. And it's by action and interaction that we do all of this to grow spiritually, so that we become the resemblance of God. As we mature, this is what happens. An acorn is the image of his father, the oak tree. That is to say, it has the same potential. Not the likeness. It will not be magnificent like the oak tree until it is planted, and it's given the sunlight, the nutrients, the soil, and the opportunity to grow. We're like the acorn. We have to work on this. It's not just given to us. It's how we develop and what we take in, learn to grow spiritually that helps us all move forward. The same is true for man. He is in the image of God. Like God, he is the trinity of wisdom, love, and power, but not infinitesimal completeness compared with God, who has the omniscience, omnipotence, and encompassing all of love. We're still here learning. We're still too judgmental, too childlike, too infant-like in many of our learning ways. We're taught by our parents and our grandparents and those around us. And we do a lot of things that make us not perfect. Well, you know, we're all humans, so we all have to learn. That's what we're here for. That's what karma's about, learning and growing. But as you grow and you learn to connect to a source, you become more and more spiritual so that your light shines. And I have a couple of examples for you and to help you think about perhaps another way of looking at becoming one with Source. The whole world listens to music, but many do not know how to listen to music and what music releases in the inner spiritual centers and projects them into space. They're to become ennobled and purified. They're to discover the key to all of life's problems. How many of you meditate, and when you meditate, you find that peace and tranquility comes to you? Well, you can do the same thing with music. When you listen to music, the first thing is to sense whether it suggests a good or bad force, what to compare it with, such as the wind, the spring, the thunder, a rainstorm. Each sound, each vibration produces movement in space and releases certain powers within you. All living things, including man, vibrate at specific frequencies. Even illnesses have a specific frequency. If any of you have seen the biofeedback I have, it actually deals with each of the frequencies within the body. The organs and all illnesses have a frequency to it, and you can reverse it. Each sound and color blends with primordial sound to heal your immune system and support healthy cellular and organ functions. As one of the chants that we often use, the sound of Om, that is the main one that brings everything into harmony. There's a lot more out there, but I just wanted to share that one with you at the moment. That balances the chakras and brings internal peace and harmony. The notes for the chakras, base is middle C, navel is D, solar plexus is E, and heart is F. Throat is G, and brow is A, and the crown is B. And there's many classical pieces that help us balance and open to the higher frequencies, especially pieces by Brahms, Mozart, Beethoven, Schubert, just to name a few. A lot of people don't know that every vertebrae has a keynote, a C sound, a vowel, a color, an element, and a zodiac sign attached to it. How many knew that? Interesting, eh? Yeah. So there's many ways to connect to source. I'm just trying to give you another way of looking at it, okay, through music. And do we all know what seed sounds are? That's from the Kabbalah, the Lam, Bam, Ram, Sam, all of that, okay? And the keynotes, of course, are the C, D, E, F, G, you know? And interestingly enough, in males, the energy is aligned in the physical body on the spinal column different than it is in females. Okay, and it probably has to do with the caduceus and all of that, because of the way energy flows. I'm not going to get into that. I could stand here all day talking about that one. Okay. The other thing I find very interesting is that the zodiac signs align with it as well. But here's an important factor, and I want you to be aware of this because music is so important. We hear it everywhere we go, okay? F sharp is the frequency of 844, and it's called the devil's interval, okay? It causes disharmony, which also allows the ego to become more focused. It stops love from happening. It blocks love, the pineal gland, and is used in some of Madonna and Lady Gaga's music. And the government puts it out in some of their music. So do you think they want us to be in disharmony so that they can control us more? But we aren't going to go there today. I just want you to be aware, okay? Because it is, you have to pay attention. F sharp, anyone that knows music, F sharp is, it actually stops you from feeling good. It actually puts you in a more foul mood. It affects your ego. It brings ego to the foreground, very bad, okay? On the other hand, do, re, mi, okay? Mi is the frequency of 528, the key of love. It brings forth faith, bravery, love, joy, and allows healing to take place. So if you're having an issue, do, re, mi, you know, do, a deer, sing the song. Sing the song. Singing together is a reflection, an expression of the physical plane of exercise, and we should be doing it every day, attuning our spirit, soul, and mind. But singing together in a chorus is also the symbol of how we must be with each other. That's why we sing songs during everything that we do. Think about it. You go to an arena to watch a hockey game. Aren't they singing a song? They're singing the anthem to bring everybody together. Well, we do that within all of our organizations in order to bring harmony within the group, and that's why singing is so important. This melting together of voices above our heads is a fusion or a joining of the soul and the spirit. Man cannot work on his inner self until his whole being is attuned. There's also a tremendous difference between listening to music and singing oneself. The difference is the same as watching someone eat and not eating yourself. Singing prepares the best conditions for purifying and beautifying the physical body. As you sing, you awaken the center within the body, capable of seizing the cosmic forces, inspiring everything that is marvelously harmonious and perfect. With practice, you can hear the music on the spheres of the angelic realm, and the wisdom of the higher levels will instill itself within you. That's why music is so important. With practice, you can hear all of this. And it extends beyond our planets and our solar system, and it embraces the zodiac as well, believe it or not. Remember the song, The Dawning of Aquarius? We're back in the Aquarian age right now. It's all tied in. Music uplifts us and melts us into the immensity of the universe. When you're upset about something, choose a song that uplifts you. And it's interesting because, you know, as a child, my mother was a widow with 5 of us, and she scrubbed floors and worked in a factory to keep us together. And I can remember picking up that habit. I worked in a cannery through high school. And I can remember standing, putting the pears in their slots that had to be peeled and cored, standing there and singing because it was the most boring job I ever did in my life. You know, my brain was dead. And so I'd sing. And I got to understand what my mother was about. Whenever my mother had difficulties, she walked around the house singing all the time. And it was like a light bulb went off in my head, and I thought, wow. So whenever I got upset, I'd start walking around and I'd start singing. I used her as an example. Food for thought, guys. You know, food for thought. Man has been gifted to advance along the spiritual path and use everything that enhances his life to do divine work. We have air, water, food, and the proper use of spiritual thinking and feeling in his body, using his eyes and ears. He puts to work all those things that will bear fruit for him and the whole world. Because every time you improve something in your life, you're helping to improve our world. And that's important. The other thing I want to remind you of, and I talk about this often, is the Lord's Prayer. Because if you're not into, you can sing the Lord's Prayer, but you can also say the Lord's Prayer because it's balancing all the chakras as well. It aligns you with Source. That's why it was given to us. That was why it was put in the Bible in the first place. So there's many forms of aligning with energy. Everything we do in life is magic. But this aspect is either unknown or ignored for humans because they're afraid of the word magic. Everything is magic. Works of art, paintings, sculptures, dancing. A pretty woman is magic. Our glances, our words, our attitudes and gestures. All geometric forms, colors, insects, plants, flowers, fruit. They all have an effect on people, either attracting them or repelling them, healing them or making them ill. And the sun and the stars, the mountains, the lakes, they all influence us. It is universal law that the cosmos and all beings in it have an effect on man and creatures. Magic means influencing the action of one thing on another. So we all have the ability to remember that we all have magic in our lives. It's how you look at it. We make a positive or a negative in our attitude and behaviors. Are you the acorn or the tree? This brings us now to the earth changes. We know the power of thought, meditation, and prayer, and the enormous beneficial results they can have on humanity. But we must participate in this most luminous work for the ideal of peace, harmony, and tranquility, to form a single giant family. We're all part of a larger family. Doesn't matter where we came from. We have to be full of love and accept everyone for who they are. This family must be formed in spite of differences of characters, tastes, tendencies, preferences, degree of evolution, social levels, positions, or wealth. Put it all aside. It's not important on a grander scale of life. It has no role in the spiritual life. Have in your heart the idea that in spite of your differences, you belong to a large brotherhood. You are all members, and as we sing together, we will awaken the consciousness of the world. And yes, then we will have real power. Perhaps this larger vision is not visible yet to you, but in a little while, everyone will be speaking this language. You will see. Namaste.